Continuing on to our in-season sports here, we'll talk a little bit about the W. The W is, as we know, last weekend we had All-Star break, and this week they started back up again. They started on Tuesday. They got a one-day break. They said Monday you can have off. Tuesday we're back to playing games. This week, though, we've had a couple little bit different shocks. First, the Sparks. LA Sparks are undefeated on the week, 3-0, beating the Mystics 93-86, the Suns 101-86, and the Liberty 101-99.
Ooh.
Darcy Hamby, Rakia Jackson, and Kelsey Plum, of course, leading that Sparks team. They are still missing Cameron Brinks, who is on the brink of coming back from her injuries.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there. But she's on the way back. She's been seen. She's been getting some shots up. She did, unfortunately, tear her ACL early last season. So having her back in the lineup, depending on who she is, if she was a player that she was before, that team's going to be pretty good because everyone is performing right now. If she's not and has some of that mental block, I think they might still be okay with what they have going on there if they just could have someone else to contribute. But these three are figuring out how to become a three-headed monster themselves over there. I should be noted, though, in that Liberty game, the oohs, the ahs, Stewie went down. She left.
Yes, I saw this in the headlines.
Left the game first quarter with 6:33 left to go in the first quarter. She had leg injury, lower body injury, so she did not return to that game and did not go in their favor because she is a huge part of what they do out there in New York.
It's still only a 2-point loss on the game, but for sure that's a big difference maker and that's a big talent piece to lose off of the team. But
really, it's like the difference between a 2-point loss or a 13-point win, which is insane to think about. Continuing on with the Liberty this week, even though they did lose Stewie towards the end of the week, they did end up going 2-1. Of course, they did lose the one against the Sparks, but they did take down the Fever and the Mercury. Fever are still missing Caitlin. There's no timeline currently for when she comes back. And the Mercury, as we know, have been hot, have been kind of up and down, and they were able to take them down. It should be noted also that the Liberty have no rush for Stewie. They're not going to rush her back from what we've heard. It's not a super serious injury, but they're going to let her take her time and rest and make sure she's back to 100% because they are still pretty good with their standing in the playoff race, at least currently.
Yeah, I have to imagine Liberty and Fever kind of both on that same mindset for their star players where it's like, let them take the time now in the regular season, be ready for playoffs, let the injuries fully heal up. We don't need to push anything right now. The Fever, I obviously wish they were in a little bit more comfortable position like the Liberty are, but I think the way they've retooled things, they would ideally be competitive enough to stay afloat while she's on the bench.
And they have shown to be that. They have been competitive. I did not check what they've looked like during this week, so we'll do that real quick. But with Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham out there sort of adding on to what Caitlin Clark did, always good, but they are still, like you said, they are not nearly in the spot the Liberties are because slightly two different teams, at least what they have going on. But they do have some hopes in the playoffs, and I think they are banking on if we can get Caitlin Clark healthy towards the end of the season, we can have enough time to make a big rush if need be and sort of knock out anyone who is still in our way.
The biggest thing in these long seasons is getting hot at the right time, and generally that's right before and leading into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Indiana finishes 2-1 on the week, actually. In fact, they took down Chicago and Vegas, and of course they lost to the Liberty themselves. When
Aces having a rough week.
Aces are having a little bit of a rough week. They're coming kind of a little bit of that slump. Audra's not playing nearly as good as she did right before that All-Star break, so I think they're in a mode where they kind of need to get things sort of going once again. The Aces this week, I think, are going to be sitting at 2-2, I do believe. They've played the most games this week. They're currently beating up on Dallas 99-80 in regulation. Currently, Vegas did lose to Phoenix. They lost to Indiana. They lost to the Lynx, who we'll talk about here in a second. So they might be sitting at... that's going to be tough. They're actually 2-3 on the week because they did beat Atlanta and then they've lost up until today, pretty much.
Yeah.
So tough sleddings. On the bright side, though, for Vegas, they are still sitting in playoff contention. They are holding on to that 8th spot.
Okay, I was going to say, I can't be too deep in there, but yeah, the 8th spot sounds about right.
Yep, they are right there on the bubble, and we'll talk a little bit more about what around that bubble looks like. Before we do so, we'll be amiss here if we didn't talk about Collier and her Lynx, who once again go undefeated this week, at least up to this point. They took down the Sky 91-68, who the Sky once again are trying to figure it out. They just got Angel Reese back once again and trying to get her back in the motion of things. And of course, taking down the Aces 109-78. Collier, of course, leading scorer. And she is looking like the surefire MVP currently. Nothing and nobody is going to stop her.
No one else has been healthy enough, long enough in this season to really compete at this point, unless, I don't know.
No, there's no, like, Aja hasn't been healthy enough. She's been up and down, and she's struggled in some games this season.
Yeah, literally everyone else has had some time off with injury or something.
Yeah, Clark would be maybe the other one. She's the fan favorite, of course, the one to keep eyes on, but she's been hurt. Stewie's just went down again, and she hasn't performed like Collier. Collier is the only consistent one that's, even win-lose, she has
been producing night
20
after
plus
night.
points and is carrying her team to the promised land once again. Of course, the Lynx, to their name, currently I do believe only have they have 4 losses total on the season, 22-4, which there's not many teams who could say that in any professional sports league. Like 4 is the winning odds there are crazy.
Yeah, seems like a slam dunk.
We will for sure see them in the playoff race. And of course, Golden State Valkyrie, who are right behind the Aces, won a couple games now. I do believe it's 2. The Valks, I think, they did not play again today. So they are 2 games behind Vegas after Vegas wins their game right now. The Valks did unfortunately lose their leading scorer and leader, Kayla Thornton. They had an earlier practice Monday, and apparently she tore something in her knee, had to go get surgery, so she is done for the season.
Yeah.
We'll see what they can do with the rest. They need to go pick up a couple people to hopefully fill the void that Thornton left, but we'll see. I don't know what to expect. Like I said, they're the unknown commodity of a team. They are a fairly balanced team, so can they make up for Kayla Thornton? Can someone pick up the slack? Sure, that's possible, but don't know yet. We'll have to wait a week or so to see what they look like with their new look without their leading scorer out there, naturally.
Very good. And
that will wrap up the week that we had in the W for the most part. The tier list that we talked about a couple weeks ago still pretty much stand. Vegas and Valks can kind of flip back and forth. I think that is a high potential this week. I am interested to see who else is going to be coming up, because the top spots are going to be hard to hunt by. Minnesota, the Lynx, and the Liberty are the top dogs.
Yeah, who's going to catch them?
Yeah, Mercury are up and down for the most part. It's really the back half there. Vegas, as we know, has struggled. Washington's been on the struggle bus lately. Indiana is in the middle of the pack, so I think they're going to be safe-ish for now. But the Sparks are making a run as well to try to chase down Vegas or Washington to knock one of them out of the playoff run. But all will be said in due time.
Yeah, how much longer do we have on the season now that we're past the All-Star break here?
So there are 42 or 44 games in a season, and most teams are sitting at roughly 24. So we have about 20-ish games left for most teams or less.
Okay, so we still got another 2 months.
Yep, currently. The only ones who are for sure probably done for the season is naturally the Connecticut Suns. Sorry.
Yep.
And then Dallas not looking too good, and Chicago not looking too good, with losing Reese kind of on their big swing up and not having Cardoso.
They've never really gotten out of the gate as far as gaining any traction in the standings.
Yeah, so not to say that it's not possible, but looking...
The window is kind of closed.
Yeah, they needed a couple more wins to their name up to this point to make it interesting. But there could be a couple slides. They are technically, Dallas and Chicago are technically only 5 games out of a playoff spot currently, which isn't insane, but...
Yep. Anything's on the board still.
For sure.